Hi, this practice is a short mobilization just for when you need a little bit of articulation through the spine, a little bit of waking up the muscles. You can do it before practice, you can do it after practice, or you can just have it stand alone as a little movement snack. Okay, so arriving into your semi-supine position. Have your feet around hip distance apart, so not super wide, not super narrow, but just kind of train tracking with the thighs in the hip sockets. Have a little moment to maybe let the knees just gently sway from side to side, so nothing massive, but maybe getting a sense of the way that the thigh bones connect into the pelvis, connect into the lower back, connect into the upper back as well. And now bringing the knees into that central tabletop position. Yaw and the fingertips away from you, sort of stretching along the floor, along the floorboards or carpet, wherever you have towards your skirting boards. Notice how your rib cage is probably flaring here, which isn't a bad thing, but just something to notice. And then sweep the arms down either side of you and let the rib cage soften down. They often say sort of quieten down in a lot of classes, so there's this feeling of it relaxing down towards the floor slightly. Inhale to prepare, and then as you exhale, we'll rock the pelvis, push into the feet, and allow that tailbone to start scooping towards the ceiling or towards the sky. Very, very slowly we articulate the spine off the floor, so it's like we're just peeling off, like peel off an orange, but not as orange. And then pressing down into the feet, get that sense of the legs engaging underneath you. Maybe even push the hip bones up a little bit higher. Sweep the fingertips towards the ceiling, thumbs face backwards, and then bring your hands behind you really, really slowly. Let the shoulders come towards the ears, and then we'll gently replace the back down again, sort of bone by bone by bone. And I'm really focusing on the lower back coming back down before the bum, and then I'm going to sweep my hands back around. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to repair. Exhale to softly start tilting the tailbone, feeding the hips towards the rib cage, and then as we start to elongate, to lengthen upwards, really focus on sending those knees forwards and away. Just notice if that changes any of the dynamics in the hips. Again, quietening the rib cage down. We'll send the fingertips towards the ceiling. One more time, take an inhale. And then sending the hands all the way back behind you, but this time ribs are not flaring as in the first stretch. And then slowly, 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 slowly bring the spine down. We'll sweep the arms back down and around. This time we bring the feet a little bit wider. Actually, let's have our arms in a T shape. I think that's a good idea. So they're definitely kind of around mat distance, your feet. Slowly let your knees roll across to one side. This is to my left hand side, but any side is good. And then take your top hand, so the hand that's not in the same direction as your knees, sweep that hand across your thighs. We're going to do this a few times, so don't worry if you don't catch it straight away. And then we keep opening up that arm behind us. So we draw one big complete circle, and as the arm reaches back across, we pull the waistline down of that top side. So let's all go to the right hand side. Sending your knees across to the right hand side, feeling how that pulls into the line of the rest of the body. Take your left hand, sweep it around, and we meet over the right hand. The left hand sweep, sweep, sweep. So now it starts to pull us back, and our left waistline returns to the floor as well. Let's do that 2 more times. So let's go knees to the left, and then the right arm sweeps across. There's this feeling of I almost feel like I'm sort of drawing a circle in the sand. You know, it's that kind of like creating the shape in the ground. The knees come back to the center, the sides of the waist drop back down, and then we'll go again to the right. And then we'll do it another 2 times. So let's just say that that first one was a practice round. Hands spin up and around. And you can make this kind of like as little as you like or as big as you like. Personally, I like to draw a really big circle. We've got one more. Knees across the left. One more in each side. I've got the sleepy arms stroking across the kind of like imaginary desert island beach. You come back to the center. And we go again to, oh no, that was it, wasn't it? That was it, yeah. Bringing the knees back into the center. So we've still got those wide legs. Bring your hands behind the head and really supporting the skull with the thumb tips either side of the neck, so you create a little basket. Inhale here. Then as you exhale, descend and flatten the belly. We're lifting up and forwards, curling ourselves into flexion. It's really easy here for this to become like a bit of a neck pull action, but I really want it to be more that we're lifting from the back body. I mean, the action is coming from the front. Yeah, we're still up here, by the way. The action's coming from the front. And lower the head, neck and shoulders down. Inhale to prepare, and again we exhale, float shoulder blades away from the floor. So just a little kind of rise. We just want to feel the belly starting to kick on. I'm in what would be an imprint position, but I'm not jamming the back down. Lift a little higher if you can, and lower back down. All right. Inhale again. Exhale, lift head, neck and shoulders. We change the pattern now slightly. Take your knees across to the right hand side as we kind of just practiced. Take another inhale. As you exhale, lift head, neck and shoulders up, so you're curling up towards your right hip bone. Then draw your knees back into the center, really slowly lift up head, neck and shoulders just a little bit more. Curling, contracting, and we lower back down. Same thing on the other side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift up head, neck and shoulders. Take your knees across to the right hand side. Lift up even higher, so a little bit more, so reaching to your left hip bone. And then we draw the knees back into the center, descending the belly, so it creates a gentle imprint with the spine. Inhale. And exhale back down. Just one more, take an inhale. As you exhale, lift up head, neck and shoulders. One more on each side. Knees go across to the left hand side this time. We lift up head, neck and shoulders. We draw the knees back to the center, descending the belly, and we relax back down. Last time to the right. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. Lifting up head, neck and shoulders. Don't know why my computer's making these noises. Take your knees across to the right hand side. Lift up head, neck and shoulders a little bit more. Draw your knees back to the center, descend the belly, lift head, neck and shoulders, a little bit, and then we relax back down. Knees hug into the center, we take a little rock from side to side. And then maybe have a couple moments breathing softly and gently into the back of the body. All right, one more breath here. So there's a sense of drawing the knees in, inhaling into the back of the body. And as you exhale, sort of dropping in, flattening the belly away from the knees, pulling the front of the body back towards the spine. And then we'll hook underneath the back of the legs and take a little rock and roll up and down the spine. Now, if this doesn't feel right for you yet, you can take a little rock and roll from side to side instead. And then let's make this the last one. And we'll cross our ankles. So I've got my right leg crossed over my left leg. This is a kind of, we're creating the tilting action of the spine from the feet. So we inhale to prepare, we exhale, push the floor away, let that tailbone tuck underneath you, get a little bit more flexion through the spine, and then we'll inhale, lifting the chest, sending the tailbone behind, and exhale. And inhale. And let's make this the last one. You can make weird breath noises like me, or you can just breathe in a little bit, quiet away. And then we'll return to neutral spine. I'm gonna turn to face you. So remember, we've got our right leg crossed over the top, and I am mirroring you. So taking your hands towards the ceiling, reach the fingertips upwards, and then we'll send our right arm towards the floor. Kind of search out with the fingertips, stretch up and over, and then kind of closing the armpit. We're twisting towards our right arm, and then kind of opening up, and then we'll squeeze the shoulder blade gently towards the back body. And let's do this a couple more times, meaning 3. That's 1. So it's 3 all together. Lifting up, and then sweep the body forwards over the legs. We'll come across to the other side. So again, we're finding the hand softening into the floor. Lift your left to right hand, so you're up and over. Stretch the armpit, take an inhale. And then we exhale, take this into a little bit of a thoracic twist, so the ribcage reaches across. We inhale to open, squeeze the shoulder blades, and exhale to twist. And you can follow the hand with the gaze. And let's make this the last one. And then we'll lift up and sweep round. And maybe now just kind of encouraging the fingertips a little bit forwards. Breathing softly into the mid-back. And then coming up to a seat, we'll just swap the ankles over. So we now have our left foot forwards. Hands again come to the front of the shins. Take an inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then as we exhale, we push those feet away from us, getting a little bit of flexion. So kind of really understanding that tucking action of the tail. Inhale, the chest lifts, the shoulders move down the back. And again, I always feel like I've kind of got a fireball in my stomach. Now this action, you don't need to exaggerate it, but you can do if it feels nice in your body. Last one, inhale. And then we'll come up to a seated position, uncross the ankles. So spinning. So we've got feet forwards in parallel, take an inhale. As you exhale, same tucking action of the pelvis, we roll back into that little C shape. Center the body. So curling the navel towards the spine, and then we inhale to sit up still in that little C shape. So it's like row your boat, but with more abdominal work. So it's quite soft, it can be quite soft. You can obviously take it a little bit further back, and the C shape I find particularly difficult to get that flexion in the spine. But it does, I don't know, it feels quite nice to me. So I've got that, you can see that my feet are doing like a variety of things. Maybe you find it, I find it easy to flex the feet as I tuck the tailbone, and then I kind of, what do? I kind of keep them flexed, and then I place the toes down. Let's do one more of these, like little waves in the body. And then last one. Oops, we come forwards. Hands come behind you. Bring the feet in a little bit. We'll push the pelvis upwards, getting in a little all fours position, pushing the sit bones towards the ceiling. And we hold here for another 3. Some people like to drop the head back, but I find that particularly unpleasant. So I'm going to keep my chin just slightly tucked into the chest. 2 and 1. Drop the pelvis down behind you. Take the toes, off the floor. We're going to see if we can hold this little boat pose for a moment. Boat pose in the yoga vocabulary. And then crossing the ankles, fold forwards. Bring yourself into a little all fours position. And give yourself a kind of couple like free flow cat-cows. So I'm really kind of undulating through the spine, trying to get all the different segments to start kind of talking to each other, interacting with each other, and you can reverse it as well, which is quite fun to do in your brain. That's it, good. And then the next time we come into all fours, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees 1 inch away from the floor. Press into the balls of the feet. I'm kind of like digging in a little bit, you know what, like when cats paw into carpet, and then shift the weight back. Find yourself into downward facing dog. Take a pad through the feet, letting the hips sway from side to side. And then pressing down into your right foot. So let's lift that left leg upwards. I think of this as a bit of a yawning motion. If you're very, very flexy and mobile, what might happen is you start to open out the hip and collapse the rib cage, which is, it's not too bad, but I want you to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. So for me now, I think about hugging the rib cage in towards the spine, and I'm pushing that leg up and not kind of pressing into the joints. And then bend the leg at the knee, bring it gently forwards towards the front of the mat, and then we'll send it back up. And let's do that one more time. So it's got this feeling of stretch and strength as well. And let's make this the last one. Bring that knee forward. So we're going to replace the left hand, stepping that left foot down really, really carefully. Lift the right hand up to the ceiling. Let the pelvis soften and release down to the floor, and then press back up. So I'm not ever like collapsing into the joints, but I'm maintaining this kind of sense of moving, like kind of like dynamism. I don't know the word, it's okay. But this sense of the muscles still be kind of engaged in movement. And let's make this the last moment here. And then I'm going to bring both fingertips to the inner edge, draw the left hip back, take a little inhale, extend through the chest, drop the hips, step your back foot forwards, forward fold, wide legs, relax the head, the neck and the shoulders. I quite like it, this not for everyone, but I quite like to just hold on to the back of my head really carefully, kind of draping the fingertips. And breathing into the back of the body, especially kind of the lower ribs, which some people refer to as the kidney ribs. And then release the fingertips down. Inhale, press down into your feet until you can feel a kind of lift through the body. So it's like that pressing down. Try that a few times. Press down into the feet, unfill the spine, and relax. And let's do that the last time. Press down into the feet, little unfill here. Inhale and exhale to melt down. We will step both feet back into downward facing dog and do that again on the second side. So this time pressing down into your left foot, lift your right leg towards the ceiling, a little yawn open again. Those kind of super flexies, you might be tempted to drop into the hip, into the rib cage as I'm doing now, which is okay, but like not somewhere to hang out for super long, so that we, the theory goes that we don't want to be kind of overstretching into our joint capsules, but rather kind of working to support them with the surrounding muscles. Now I'm really trying to stretch that leg up and away, but I'm keeping my rib cage hugging in slightly. And then I'm going to pour forwards and draw the right knee into the center of the chest. Inhale and send it back. I like to rise up onto the ball of my foot. For some reason I find that really satisfying. Last one. A little bit of flow, and then drawing forwards, and that right leg steps forwards, replacing the right hand. And I'm taking a little bit of a twist up towards the right hand side. I'm just keeping a little bit of motion here, so it's not a like hold, there's nothing, and there's also nothing that's not involved. So it may feel a little bit silly, but that's okay. Have your own little shimmy here. And then we'll bring both hands down to the inner edge of your right leg. Draw the left hip back slightly, soften the hips down, but I'm still maintaining an energetic lift through the abdomen. And then I'm going to step both feet forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to melt down. And then softening down into the heels. Tailbone sort of drops, relax the head, the neck and the shoulders, maybe give it a little shimmy. And we slowly come up towards standing. Building the body back up on top. Take a little kind of rock forwards and back between the feet. And then let's rise. So you press down into the balls of the feet. Let the heel lift, skull lifts up, a sense of, I would kind of think of like smoke rising, there's just continual light reaching skywards. And then keep that reaching through the skull as you gently drop the heels down. And then we find our base, we root down. One last thing, inhale, reach the hands. And exhale, little soften. Inhale to reach. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Inhale all the way up. And then hands come down through heart center. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.